Hello, everyone, and welcome along to this live webinar. And today I'm happy to be here with Simi and Claire from our finance team. Hi, Simi. Hi, Claire. How are you?
Hi.
We start with the agenda for today. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Let me share again. I have some issues to scroll down. 1 second. All right. Okay, so the topic of this webinar is about finance. We will speak about buy-to-let mortgages, remortgages, product transfers, and bridging finance. So we will start with a high-level market update by Simi. Many things are going on right now in the world. Then we will speak about the differences between bridging and mortgages. Then we will show you how you can find your mortgage options using Lendlord and how you can also apply online or start a process to get your mortgage illustration. Then we will show you how you can track and manage your mortgage application. We will share some use cases, and we will end with a live Q&A session. Before we start, as we do usually in our webinars, we run a promotion to our... Actually, we have two promotions today, one for finance products and one for premium. But if you are a premium user of Lendlord, you get benefits built in the premium plan when you apply for finance. So today we offer 50% of the premium plan. I will share the links in the chat soon. But before, I want to introduce you to the Lendlord AI feature. So this is something brand new. It's available only for premium users. So if you want to get free access, you can upgrade to our premium plan with the coupon code that I will share in a sec. Just to highlight the Lendlord AI functionality. So it's available from everywhere. You have different prompts based on the page that you are in. So you can summarize your existing property or your entire portfolio. You can phrase emails. You can compare two properties in your portfolio. You can learn about things related to property and landlords. And you can also query your account. For instance, if you want to ask a specific question about your portfolio, about your cash flow, you can do it as well. Lendlord AI is also available on the listing page, the sourcing tabs. And I'll give you one example. For instance, if I'm browsing now for auction lots and I found a property I'm interested in, I can use Lendlord AI first to summarize this property. So based on the data the platform has on this property, we use different LLMs, APIs of AI. There are different providers. It depends on the purpose. So basically, you can get a summary of this property, and then you can ask a follow-up question. For instance, how much, let's say, refurbishment this property needs. So then the Lendlord AI will now analyze based on the information it has and will provide you with some kind of estimation. Of course, you need to take it into account that it's just an indication, but it's definitely something that can help you when you look into properties. So yeah, so basically can provide you some insight, some rough range of costs, but you can continue with follow-up questions and get more information. And then you have the same, if you can go to the deal analyzer on the same deal, start analyzing the numbers, and then you can use Lendlord AI as well here to provide insights on this analysis. So if you want to get the early access for the Lendlord AI feature, and also to get all the other premium features such as linking bank account, my documents, property value estimation, rent estimation, and more, go to your settings page, and I will share a link also after that. Second. Yeah, switch to a different account. 1 second. On your settings page, on the account information plan details, click upgrade. And here click on add coupon, then type 090425, click apply, and you will get the premium plan with 50% off for the first year, only 49.5 pounds for the entire year instead of 99. So it's very affordable. You will also get benefits when you apply for finance, either if it's bridging or mortgages, and you can get all the premium features for this price. So I will share the link shortly on the chat, but just go to your settings page. In the meantime, click upgrade, then click add coupon and type 090425. This is the date today, and you will get it for 49.5. All right. So let's start with the market update. Simi, over to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for joining us today. So as we delve into the current mortgage landscape, I think it's important to understand the broader economic factors influencing interest rates in the UK. So one of the biggest factors we've seen in the news in the last week is the tariffs imposed by President Trump. So before we get into the impact, I'll explain briefly what the tariffs are. So Trump introduced tariffs, which are basically a tax on a wide range of goods and services. So the tariffs especially targeted China and also other trading partners. The tariffs were introduced to essentially reduce trade deficits and also bring back jobs in the US. The immediate effect has been seen globally, particularly in the stock market and also in the global supply chain. And obviously, being, the global supply chain is highly interconnected. The UK has been given a more favourable tariff than other countries, which is good news. However, tariffs are not as great as they seem, because they can lead to higher production costs, which can impact the price of imported goods in the UK. And now, as kind of these businesses costs rise, inflationary pressures can also build. So for the Bank of England, this means a more complicated decision-making process regarding interest rates. So when inflation rises, the Bank of England tend to increase interest rates in an attempt to cool down the economy. So this is because high interest rates generally lead to lower borrowing and spending, which can help bring back inflation to the desired level. So while the UK's inflationary pressures are influenced by factors like rising import costs due to tariffs, the Bank of England's decisions to change rates are driven by the need to manage these pressures. And I think it's interesting to, comment on what we're seeing rates do, particularly in the buy-to-let market. So we've seen a bit of a mixed response over the last week. Some lenders have increased rates, some have reduced. We have seen swap rates, which lenders use to price mortgages at, reduce slightly as well. They're around 4% today, and the Bank of England base rate's at 4.5%. So it'll be interesting to see what lenders do over the coming weeks. Obviously, things can change drastically, as we've seen in the last week. So we just don't know where the rates will be. So our advice is to, speak to a broker, get a rate locked in, because then we can monitor the rates throughout the process. The next Bank of England meeting is on the 8th of May. So we do have a little bit of time, but it's just very uncertain, and, things can change overnight, particularly in this market. Something to also add is, I think a lot of the headlines about rates coming down or moving, particularly, they are aimed at the residential mortgage market. It's very different for buy-to-lets. And with interest rates, that will impact how much you can borrow on the buy-to-let side, because that will impact your stress test. So I think if you are seeing rates in the headlines, they are geared more towards the residential market. So again, advice is to speak to a broker, see what's actually available to you, and then you can make a plan as to what to do in the future.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Simi. And if you have questions, you can write them on the chat. or in the end, we will have a Q&A session. So yeah, thanks, Simi. By the way, did you see any impact in the recent days after, like, in terms of rates, or like it's just, or
Yeah, so some lenders, it's interesting because some lenders react pretty quickly and they are the first to change rates. So some reduce them pretty quickly, some actually increase them. So, for example, Aldermore, who's quite a specialist lender, they increased their rates quite significantly and quite quickly. But since then, it has settled a little bit and we are seeing rates come down, which is great. But when it's uncertain, lenders can pull the rates at any given time. So it really just depends on the lender. Normally, they do follow each other. So where we've seen some increase, some reduce, it's been quite unusual. So yeah, we have seen immediate effects already.
all right, okay, good stuff. Thanks, Simi. So let's go to the next topic, bridging versus mortgages. So basically, the question, and perhaps we can start with you, Simi, and then Claire, you can jump in and add more information about the bridging growth. So basically, there are two ways to get finance to purchase properties. Actually, perhaps three ways if we include cash purchase. So it can be a buy-to-let mortgage or bridging finance. Simi, do you want to speak about the differences between those
Yeah,
two?
so the main difference between bridging finance and mortgages is that bridging finance is like short-term lending. So if you essentially need to move quite quickly. So when we'd advise a client to go for bridging finance, as if there's a property that is unmortgageable, it's not in a lettable condition, or it's an auction purchase where you have to move really quickly within, 21, 28 days, and it's not going to be enough time to go down the mortgage route. So bridging is short-term lending to, improve a property or acquire a property really quickly, and a mortgage is obviously more long-term, and it'll be for a longer period of time.
What about refurbishment? Do you have lenders that will allow refurbishments for buy-to-let mortgage, or it's like you need to go to the bridging approach?
So the other way you can do it is, for example, if you've got a property that is habitable, it is mortgageable, but you want to add value, if you don't go down the bridging route, you can look at a tracker product which has no early redemption charges, as that will allow you to freely refinance once you've done the work. So lenders don't typically have a product like like a refurbishment product. There's a very small handful of lenders who do have that type of product, but it can be quite expensive. And the process it's not as fast as bridging. But yeah, there's different ways to do it.
Yeah. And I think with bridging, someone also, you see on the chat, yeah, Chris asked about the rates. So it really depends. On bridging, the rates will be more expensive than buy-to-let mortgage, although the fees usually depends on the size of the loan, can be a bit lower, but all in all, bridging is more expensive product if you compare it to a buy-to-let long-term mortgage. The thing with bridging that it will give you advantage in terms of the speed, or if you need to do some refurbishment, as Simi mentioned, or if you want to implement strategies like buy-to-sell/flip or BRR. And then basically you improve the property, you increase value, and then you can refinance at a higher rate or sell at a higher value. And you can use Lendlord to analyze those type of deals using the deal analyzer. When you use this strategy, then bridging, even though it's more expensive, it can allow you to do more of these strategies. So, for instance, let's take an example. Like if I use BRR, so I'm purchasing the property, let's say at 100, I'm going to spend 20K. I'm going to use bridging, or I can also use cash purchase, but for this example, let's use bridging. Then let's say that the value post refurb will be 160, and the rent post refurb will be 1,300. By the way, you can use the get estimation links on the Lendlord platform, and you can also use the Lendlord AI. It's not available here because this is not premium account, to get more information about this property and to refine the estimation of the refurb cost and the GDV. Then I click proceed, and I get the full analysis. So I can see that this is the initial cash investment that I need if I use bridging. This will be the bridging loan costs. I can always see the summary to understand what rate I got, but I can refine it using the edit icon. And then you can see that if I refinance to a buy-to-let mortgage at a 75%, let's see on the summary. Yeah, the refinancing at 75%. So potentially, if I can lend 120K, the money left in the deal metric is 20K. So I invested 54, but if I'm doing it right, I can actually get more funds back. And then the long-term metrics will be calculated on the money left in the deal. We have lots of content on our YouTube channel on the deal analyzer, many webinars we did, but this just to show you the differences. So you can use bridging to purchase the property, perform the refurbishment, and then you can use buy-to-let, long-term buy-to-let remortgage to refinance, to get a tenant in, and basically start to get cash flow from this specific property. Yeah, all right. So next topic. Let's see if we have questions. We have several questions. Okay, Devin asks, typically, how long would it take to process 250K of bridge finance and our Lendlord, the underwriters? It really, so yes, Lendlord is on bridging. We do the underwriting, so we are the lender. On mortgages, we act as a broker. And we had, like, I think the fastest, Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, that we completed bridging was like 5 or 6 working days. So it's feasible, but you need to take into account that there is a physical valuation that needs to happen. But usually we can get it booked in 2 to 3 days, and then the legal process. So you need a good solicitor, and then we both chase our solicitors to make the process much faster. So it's feasible, but it really depends on the legal process and also on the seller if it's a new purchase. On refinance with bridging, capital raising, it can be much more faster. But bridging in general is provide you with more speed. I see there are more questions, but perhaps we can keep them to the end. And let's continue with the agenda of this webinar. Finding the best financing for your next property. Perhaps you can start before we jump into the demo. What considerations, like let's say that, let's focus on new purchase for now. What consideration the buyer should take into account when applying for a buy-to-let mortgage?
So, if it's going to be in a personal name or a limited company. So when you apply, you need to know what structure you're going to be purchasing via. We're seeing a lot of landlords move more into the limited company space for tax purposes. So, firstly, the ownership structure, and then how much deposit you're going to be looking to put down. So typically most lenders will accept 25%. There are some specialist lenders who will accept 20% as well. So understanding the costs are really important, and also stamp duty, because we saw the change towards the end of last year with the additional surcharge going up. So you need to look at all of those fees associated with the product. And also when you do enter the details, the rental income is super important, because that's what's going to be used for the stress test calculation to calculate how much you can borrow.
Yeah. And then if you use Lendlord, we will show you now how you can explore your mortgage options in a digital way. And I see that there are questions on the chat. We will answer all of them, don't worry. All right, so there are several options. One, if you analyze a deal, then you can just click on this. Let me switch to this account on the finance this deal button. So let's say if I come from the auctions tab, so the platform in the background will analyze the portfolio of the users, and based on that, also the property will suggest mortgage products. And you can, this is one option, or you can go to the finance tab, click mortgage, remortgage, and then you can put here the details, property value, the rental income, the required loan, etc., to get the mortgage products. I think what is important to look at is not just the rate, but also the fees. And you can order this table based on initial rate, or based on fees, or total cost. Total cost means for instance, this search is for 2 years fixed products. So we calculate the interest cost for 2 years plus the fees. So this will be the total cost. So it's not just the fees. But Simi, perhaps I will let you perhaps more like elaborate on the differences between the products. Yeah.
Yeah, so with the products, typically in the buy-to-let space, you'll look at either a 2 year or a 5 year fixed rate or a tracker. So, as Avram mentioned, the way we source our products is based on the overall cost. So, what's going to save you the most over 2 or 5 years, and we take into account the interest rate and any fees. So, you'll have visibility on our sourcing system, which is what we source our products on. So, all of the rates you see here are absolutely live in line with lenders' rates as well. So, you can pick your product and then we'll check the rate, we'll check the criteria, make sure it all makes sense. But also, if there's another rate available that we think might be more appropriate or suited to you, we'll also recommend that because we want to just basically make sure it's going to be the most cost effective.
Yeah. Now, if it's also here, you can check the rates if you apply as a company. And if you want to see options for, you know what, before I will show you the stress test. So we stress test the portfolio, but we also stress test the specific property in terms of rental income. So let's say if I reduce the rental income to 100, then now it should fail stress test for many lenders. So you can see. So Lendlord will tell you also which lenders probably will not lend you, but always good to schedule call with our team to understand other options. But this is something that you can also test with Lendlord. And another thing that you can do is to apply a remortgage search. So when you do a remortgage, you'll have the list of your properties. Okay, in this case, I have only one property in this account. So the platform will take the values from my portfolio page. And then you just need to click search and fill in the fields that are still missing. And then you will get rates for remortgage, and you can apply search for remortgage with capital raising or without capital raising pound to pound. Simi, perhaps you can now speak about the differences between like on remortgage, like if it's a remortgage or product transfer, what is the process of them, etc.
So, a product transfer is where you stay with your existing lender. So, it's a type of remortgage, but you're staying with your existing lender and you're literally switching the product like for like. So, there's no changes to the balance or the term length or anything. The repayment type, for example, is literally a like for like switch. The benefit of doing a product transfer is that it's very quick, there's no underwriting, there's no additional credit checks, it's just a straight switch. Usually you can apply for that 3 to 4 months prior to your fixed rate ending, depending on your lender. Some lenders will allow 6 months, it just depends. A remortgage is where you move to a new lender and you can capital raise, and you can capital raise for pretty much any reason, as long as it's not illegal purposes or to pay a tax bill or something like that. So a remortgage is when it goes to a new lender. A full underwriting process is carried out, including evaluation as well.
Okay, thanks, Simi. Now let's speak about bridging and how you can find terms for bridging. So there are, again, two options or even three. One from the sourcing tabs. For each property, you should see indicative numbers of like loan amount, but it's very rough. So if you click proceed, you can start a process to get your terms for bridging finance. Or if you are in the deal analyzer, when you click on the finance this deal button, you will see the options for okay, so for instance, on BRR, if you need refurbishment, then bridging will be the best option usually, not all the time. Then you can see initial rate, then click proceed to start the process to get your bridging terms. So Claire, if you want to say a few words about the process. So now I'm just showing how you can apply. There are like quick questionnaire that you need to answer.
So it's really important that you complete the full questionnaire and answer all the questions. You'll go through, different stages, and once you get to the end, you'll need to upload some documents in order for our underwriting team to review the case. Obviously, there's no obligations. There's no hard credit searches done. It's pretty straightforward. But if you do want to get terms, again, it's really important that you finish the full application.
Yeah. Then after I completed the questionnaire, I can see indicative rate, but I need to click proceed for us to see your application and start the process. Then here you need to provide more details. So if you already have the details on your Lendlord account, you just need to click next. And then some information about the property. If it's an auction, the date, the auction date. Then click next. And at this stage, you can see the data, and you can edit if needed, if it's needed, or click proceed to see your indicative terms. So this is a low LTV loan, so the rates are quite low, but the rates should be, like usually will be higher. We should say that. But we do have the dynamic product. So on some products, you can get lower interest rates if you repay early. So if you repay after 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and then 12 months. On bridging, it's very important to have a plan in place. So you need to make sure that your exit strategy is valid and you have a plan to refurbish the project on time and exit the loan on time, either if it's a refinance or a sale. And then if you can exit early in this product, you can pay lower interest rate. But if you pay on time, it will be a higher interest rate. We also provide extensions, but extensions also have some other costs that you need to factor in. We also provide refurbishment finance. It's not embedded into the process right now. It will be in the next few weeks. But if you need to fund also the refurbishment costs, this is also something we can do. So you just need to ask it when you speak with the team, or you can write us on the chat here and mention that. Yeah, anything else, Claire?
Yeah, just to mention, we as Avram just said, we have two products. So if you borrow under 70% loan to value, we have the dynamic product, which means, as Avram stated, if you pay back early, you'll get a lower interest rate, but there'll be no monthly payments. The loan is capitalized. If you borrow anything above 70% loan to value, you will need to service the interest on a monthly basis. So obviously, just bear in mind, because for cash flow purposes, it may be better for you to pay everything at the end, or if it doesn't really matter for your cash flow, obviously you can pay monthly on the interest and get the higher LTV.
Yeah. Thanks, there. As you can see, you can get some benefits on our premium plan. So I encourage you to apply to our premium plan, and you have the link on the chat. I will put it again. And I will show you how you can do it. You have during the webinar time to upgrade with 50% off. So hurry up and do it. If you're already a premium user, just write on the chat your email address and we will make sure to apply the coupon code to your renewal. Because you are in this webinar and this is a benefit that we provide to users that attend to the webinar. So go to your settings page from the right top menu, click settings, or click on the link that I shared on the chat, click upgrade, then click add coupon and type 090425, click apply, and you will get the premium plan for the first year with 50% off. You get so many great features, also early access to the Lendlord AI feature, which can provide you great insights with everything that you do, and also benefits if you apply for bridging or mortgage from the platform. So you have by the end of this webinar, so if you're not premium user yet, this is the time to upgrade. Now, let's, I see some emails. We will capture those emails and apply the coupon for your renewal, don't worry. Simi, now let's show how you can apply and get your mortgage illustration online for mortgages.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will go to the finance section. I can click on the mortgage remortgage page. Switch this account. Or if I'm in the deal analyzer, I can click on the finance this deal, and then I can start a process. So I need to click on review your mortgage illustration. And here I select the product, but as Simi mentioned, if you want to speak with our team, and I will share the link tree so you can schedule calls with our team, and you can also see the links to apply online. Then if the team will find a better rate for you, they will suggest it, of course. So very quick questions, click next, then proceed. And here again, you will get a fully online application like you have in the bridging section. And the good thing with that is that you will get notifications with any progress of your mortgage application or of your bridging application. So if you submit application with the lender, once you get the mortgage offer, you will get notification. You can review your mortgage offer also online. You can see the steps on the legal processing until you get the funds, and the same goes for bridging finance. Yeah, and then after you apply,
I've just uploaded the illustration.
perfect. So usually within 24 hours during the working days, you will see your mortgage illustration online. And then if you decide to proceed, you need to agree to the terms, and then you can upload documents. There is an option to send the documents to the team via an email if you prefer. And then basically, perhaps Simi, you can speak about the process, what happens after that.
Yeah, so once we receive the inquiry, we upload the illustration and we make sure we check all the details prior to uploading the illustration. So we'll run the stress test, we'll ensure you meet the criteria for the lender. If we do have any questions that we're not sure on before we can upload the illustration, we will contact you by email or call just to get that information. And then once we've uploaded the illustration, and you've agreed to proceed, I'll email you a list of the documents required. So you can either upload them to your inquiry or you can also email them directly. Obviously, if you upload them to your inquiry, you can easily, track the process of when they've been verified and things like that. So the benefit of uploading them is that you can have real kind of insight into what's going on in your application at all times. And then, yeah, once we've got your documents, we submit the application, and again, we update the system so that you know when it's being when it's being submitted, when it's being processed, when it's at valuation stage, and so forth.
Great, thanks, Simi. Another thing, we are actually launched recently an insurance service as well. So if you want to get quotes for insurance, you have also a questionnaire here. So this is, I'm starting from scratch, but you can start it from the specific property or from your tasks. If you have, let me switch to this account. If you have a landlord insurance end date, then you can get a quote quite quickly. Just click on get a quote. And here you can see the details already filled in. So it's a process, it takes some time, and then you can get some quotes from different insurers. And then you can also add additional cover if you want. For instance, if you want to add rent guarantee insurance. So you can see the prices, and then you can apply online and purchase the insurance. So this is a new process in a digital way, apply for insurance using the Lendlord platform. All right, let's continue with the agenda. I think there are questions, so perhaps we can jump into the questions, but I think we covered most of the things. In terms of use cases, we have many good case studies. In bridging, we had several deals that we were able to close in a few working days. On the mortgages, we share use cases from time to time to our users. Perhaps, Simi and Claire, perhaps it's worth jumping into the question because
Yeah.
over time.
So I'll start it off, one from Sarah. So if you take bridging via Lendlord and then move to a normal mortgage, Lendlord will take care of the process. So it's important to note that Lendlord Finance is a separate company to Lendlord, but all we are is the broker arm. So we can absolutely look to assist with you with your mortgage. It would be a slightly different process, but yeah, we can definitely look to assist with that one.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question.
Yeah, let's begin perhaps Simi from, let's see if we don't miss. So I'm starting with Chris. We answered about the rates, but we answered about the 250K loan. Where is the question? The questionnaire icon. So in order to start the process, you should go to the finance tab and then click on bridging application. Let me share also the link tree of Lendlord. So here you can see all the links to apply for a bridging online or for a mortgage, or you can schedule calls with the bridging team or with the mortgage advisor team, or you can also schedule a demo to how to use the platform. Yeah, so let's go back to the chat.
There's a bridging question from Chris. So can you do a calculation on an 8 million 1-year bridging loan?
Yeah, for
So
sure. Yeah.
yeah, with that one, you just need to apply through the online questionnaire, and then that'll get picked up by the underwriter, and then they'll review all the details. But yeah, it's something we can definitely consider.
Yes, definitely. We actually think one of the benefits using Lendlord with bridging, I would not say it's specifically the rates, I'm not sure that we are the most competitive. We have good rates from time to time, and we try to reduce them as much as we can. The benefits are the service that you get, the speed, commercial approach, like flexible underwriting, and also the size. So the minimum loan is 30K, not many lenders can do. And the maximum loan is 12 million. So we can do, like, we have a range, wide range of lending. So if you want to, you can also try and apply for large loans and see what rates you will get. So it's also available in the questionnaire. Yeah, let's continue. So where are we now?
There's another one from Christopher. Can bridging be used for additions like lease extension, auction fees as well, or just for the purchase of the property?
Okay, it's a good question. So if the lease extension, like if you can do it on the completion date of the bridging, then it's feasible on the day one. But if not, we can do a second advance to cover the lease extension cost. So it's something that we also did in the past. So yeah, the answer is yes. Can stamp duty be added to the purchase price and then get 25% deposit? No. Usually stamp duty is separate to the value of the property. So we will land usually on the lower between purchase price and property value, but we did several cases that we lent on the value. So if you buy under market value and you can prove it, and the valuer comes back to us and say, yes, the actual value is higher than the purchase price, we will consider to lend you based on the market value. Okay, now Alison asked, I'm purchasing a HMO which has planning but no license. What valuations would you instruct for a bridging loan, commercial or residential? It will be an HMO valuation, which is a bit more expensive, but we have a panel of valuers that can do it. So yeah, so you just need to make sure that on the inquiry, on the additional information that I showed before, you mention it's an HMO, and we will take care of it.
Something to add with that, actually, because I had a recent inquiry this week about commercial valuations for HMOs on the mortgage side. So typical, kind of specialist lenders, they normally do a more detailed HMO valuation, but it's still a bricks and mortar. We do actually have access to a couple of specialist lenders who will offer a commercial valuation, which obviously can get you more lending. So that's something to bear in mind as well, because yeah, most lenders will just do a bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
Okay, another question we have, if Lendlord Finance offers first-time buyer mortgages. Yes, we do. We offer, we can advise on first-time purchases if it's in a limited company or in your personal name. So definitely one we can help with. Another question, if we work for Lendlord or if we are independent advisors. So no, fully employed by Lendlord, we're qualified mortgage brokers. We advise based on if we were regulated, even though we're unregulated. So yeah, fully qualified advisors working for Lendlord.
Okay, Catherine, do you have mortgage and bridging for UK citizen but no longer resident of the UK now? Simi?
So for a mortgage, yes, you can be overseas. I will be completely transparent. The pool of lenders are a lot more limited. It's a lot smaller because lenders feel like the risk is higher, but definitely one we can help with.
Okay, thanks. On bridging, Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that we had, cases that
If your exit strategy is to refinance and you're able to get a mortgage to be able to exit the bridge, then it's no problem at all. And obviously, if you're selling the property, it's absolutely fine.
Yes, definitely. And also, I think also if the exit strategy will be a sale, we can.
Yeah, that's what I just said. If it's to
Yeah,
sell, it's absolutely fine.
missed that. All right, perfect.
Something, sorry, just to add on the mortgage side for non-UK residents, some lenders will have criteria about what country you're from. They will have like an approved list. So as long as you meet the criteria, you have an income available and things like that, but we'll check all the criteria.
Yep. Okay. At what point is a hard search done on the mortgage application? Then if you are saying there's no hard searches done on your, okay. On bridging, we don't do hard searches. On mortgages, Simi?
So when you apply online by Lendlord for a mortgage, no hard search is done, no soft search is done either. It's purely an inquiry. And when we submit your mortgage application, that's at the point you've agreed to proceed, we've got your documents, that's when we'll submit your application. And the mortgage application is done in two stages. So the first part's a decision in principle. Some lenders, that'll be a soft search, some will be a hard. But when it goes to the full application stage, that is a hard footprint. But we normally would only put you with a lender where we think you're going to have the highest chance of approval. So hopefully, it all goes to plan.
Okay. Cindy, before we continue, I just want to remind everyone about the promotion for today. For the premium plan, 50% off you have by the end of this webinar. There are great features, but also discounts on broker fees and bridging applications when you apply. So some of the features, so on the sourcing, if you want to see the full address, you need to be premium. If you want to add property to a watch list, you need to be premium user. The sourcing alerts. On the sourcing alerts, actually, you can get notifications when new property is being uploaded to the platform based on your search criteria, and you can get notifications on price decrease, price increase on properties on your watch list. On the deal analyzer, if you want to generate a report with all the information about this deal, you need the premium plan. Also, if you want to estimate property value and rental value, you can get unlimited with the premium plan. Another feature is the postcode information search. So on bridging, or if you can go directly to the postcode information page. So you can see the postcode information tab and great data about this postcode. So it's crucial when you analyze a deal before you purchase to review all of this data, including comparables. So if you want unlimited postcode information searches, you should upgrade. I will share the link again, but in order to do it, go to your settings page, click on plan details, click upgrade, then click add coupon and enter 090425, click apply, and you will get the entire year for 50%, so 49.5 for the entire year, for the first year, instead of 99. So hurry up and do it. You have by the end of this webinar. And yeah, let's continue with the questions.
There's a question from Devon. So for bridging finance, and as speed of execution is important, is a desktop valuation or do you do in person? So normally a physical valuation will be required for bridging. On the mortgage side, some lenders will do an automated valuation. Majority do physical, just depends on the lender as well.
Just to add to that, we can get a valuation on the bridging side done very quickly within, a couple of days, and we'll receive the report within 24 hours. So it will not delay any process.
Yes.
There's another question from Rakia. So at what point do you pay stamp duty on a bridging loan? So that will be on completion. That stamp duty is always payable on completion for a mortgage and bridging as well.
Yes. Okay, Pripta, I'm trying to remortgage my property, but it's only showing one of my properties. Okay, so if you can write on the chat, and I will ask the team to investigate. I'm not sure, perhaps if one of them is residential, the current search on the platform, if you want to find mortgage options, will be only for buy-to-let mortgages, /remortgages. Having said that, if you need a first-time buyer mortgage, you can use the link to schedule a call with the teams and speak with our team, because we can do it as well, but it's not available online.
Yeah, normally for a residential mortgage or remortgage, you can just reach out to me directly and we can set up a call and go through your options. With a residential mortgage, because the affordability is calculated based on income, we usually do require documents. So if you're self-employed, SA302s, or if you're employed, pay slips to calculate your affordability, because we want to be as accurate as possible. On the buy-to-let side, it'll be based on the stress test. So just have those documents ready if you are looking for a residential mortgage with us.
Okay. If subscribe today, is it still possible to enjoy discounts on already applied bridging finance? Yeah, we can consider that. Or just approach us. Just approach the team, approach Claire, and we'll make sure that you can get this discount as well. Just make sure to subscribe to the premium. You don't have a lot of time. You have the links on the chat to get the 50% off. The webinar will be recorded on we will upload the webinar recording to YouTube, to our YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube. We have lots of content there. So yeah. Can I use your remortgage service for my main residency? You answered that, Simi?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you also provide insurance cover? Yes, for property on exchange will be during the renovation. Yeah, we have different types of insurance. I showed you, you can apply from the system. I will share the link for insurance as well. Yeah, Simi, if you can take the next one.
Yeah. There's a question from Amika. Can one get above 75 to 100% loan to value, and what is the condition? So, as I mentioned, standard products will be 75% loan to value. Some lenders will do 80%. On a buy-to-let, it's very rare that you'll get above 80% loan to value. On a residential, you can go up to 95% loan to value, but yeah, for a buy-to-let, you do have to have a higher deposit. There's a good question about the products. So it says, do you use products from all over the industry or mainly high street lenders? So we belong to a mortgage club via Legal and General, and that gives us access to our lenders. So we have access to your high street lenders, your niche building societies, specialist lenders. It's not every lender in the market, to be completely honest, but the lenders that we do use, they're the top sourcing buy-to-let lenders. So you're not going to be at a disadvantage at all. There's another question. I have 4 properties, all bought cash under my limited company in August 24. They're all now rented, 2 with social housing, 2 privately tenanted. I need to mortgage these to release equity to buy a few more properties. Never had a mortgage before and never had to borrow. So the process, if it's a limited company with a holding company structure, so things to look out for, which lenders will assess, is that if the structure of the limited company and the holding company mirror each other, that is one of the criteria points. The second one is the SIC code. So for a limited company, for it to be a special purpose vehicle, it has to have a real estate SIC code. If it doesn't, that's a trading company, which not all lenders will consider, but some will. But the process normally can take about 3 to 4 weeks to get the mortgage offer for a limited company, and it's definitely one we can help with. I definitely recommend setting up a call so we can go through all the property information and then we can advise you on the rates. But yeah, the process is a straightforward one.
All right. Where are we now? Can you arrange?
Can we arrange development finance?
Yes, we can. Depends on the size of the development. It's mainly light refurbishment, perhaps a bit more than light refurbishment, but we can do it as a second advance. You just need to ask it. It's currently not available in the questionnaire process, but just mention the refurb costs and then mention it when you speak with the team or in the chat, and then we will make sure to provide those terms for the refurbishment of the property.
Another question is, can the fees be added to the mortgage? So I'll run through the fees with a mortgage, just so you have an idea of what to expect. So depending on the lender, there's a valuation fee, which is normally a few £100s upwards, depending on the property value. There's an application fee in some cases, and that's normally £100 to £200, depending on the lender, and that's payable up front. And then there's a lender's arrangement fee. So that can range from a fixed fee to a percentage of the balance. Now, that can be added to the loan. That can also be added on top of the 75% loan to value. As long as the lender's okay with it and as long as the rental meets a stress test, that's no problem. So, yeah, you can add fees to the mortgage, but only the arrangement fee, not the valuation or application fee.
All right, let's continue. What collateral is required for bridging finance? as the property is not necessarily in your name. If the property, look, in order to lend, we have that we lend only if it's a company, we will lend to the directors basically are the applicants or shareholders above 25%. And if it's in a private name, the loan, you need to be the owner on your private with your private name. So not sure that yeah, if there is something around that. Yeah. I don't know.
There's another question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another question from Chris. Do you transform individual portfolios to limited companies and what costs? So we can help when you transfer a property from your personal name to your limited company. Lenders will deem it a purchase transaction. So the equity can be used as a deposit. So you don't have to put up like the 25% deposit as it's deemed a purchase or anything. But definitely one we can help with. We've got some really good lenders who are really in the buy-to-let space and they understand this type of transaction really well. So the underwriting process is really smooth and it's no kind of silly questions. They know what we're looking to do. So yeah, definitely can help with that.
Okay. I don't have upgrade on my settings tab. Let's try to walk you through it again. So if you go to the right top menu, switch to different account. Yeah. So from the right top menu, click set on the settings page. Then you see account information, plan details, click upgrade. And here you should see the add coupon button. Then type 090425 and click apply. If you don't see it, I put on the chat the link /premium. So try to link on this, to click on this one. And if it still doesn't work, just write us on this chat. This help box, you can message the team, but you can also use the articles here. So you have many articles on how to use Lendlord. So yeah, so it's like another resource, important resource if you want to maximize the use of the app. Yeah. Do we have any other questions, Simi?
Yep. So we've got my co-shareholder is a UK resident and works abroad in Africa. Will this frustrate our borrowing options for BRRR? So for a mortgage, as Avram mentioned, like the limited company structure. So on a mortgage application, all directors need to be on the application, and any shareholders, usually with 20 to 25%, need to be on the application. If your co-shareholder has less than that shareholding percentage, they won't even need to be on the application. So it will just be yourself, and the lender will just assess yourself. So that's a good way to kind of structure a company if you do have someone overseas, because otherwise you'll be subject to expat products or foreign national products, and they are typically more expensive.
All right. Sarah asked, Simi, just want to check, do you also work with commercial mortgages?
We do, yeah. Depending on the type of commercial property, we do. We also have options with semi-commercial. The criteria will depend on the residential and commercial split as well, but we do advise on those.
Okay, and Chris asked, I missed it. So how much is the premium Lendlord app if you get it now? So if you get it during this webinar time, is only 49.5 pounds for the entire year. So if you apply for bridging or mortgages, you will get a discount that cover it, I think triple it. So, and you also get the next question is the IAR function available now? Okay, so premium users get early access to the Lendlord AI feature. If you subscribe today during this webinar time, you will get the AI feature in the next, hopefully tomorrow, or if not, the first thing early next week. But yeah, you like premium users should get the early access for the AI feature. If subscribed, do I get all the benefits that property data gives? Some of them. So we use the API, so we get some information that we think it's necessary for the flows of the platform. All right. Yeah, I think we are quite Yeah, I think we are good for today. It was over time. All right. So thanks everyone, and thanks Simeon, thanks Claire. Just to remind a few things. Yeah, like question about the recording. We will upload the recording to our YouTube channel, hopefully tomorrow, if not on Friday. And again, if you want to apply online or schedule calls with our team, use the link tree here. I will share it again on the chat. So you have all the links available on our link tree. If you want to use the coupon code for the premium plan, so click on the premium link or go to your settings page, click upgrade, then click add coupon, and then type 090425 and click apply, and you will get the premium plan for 50% off. I will keep this session open just to give opportunity to the ones that didn't have the time to upgrade, so you can still upgrade and get the benefit. We'll keep it open for the next 1 or 2 hours. All right. So thanks again, Simin and Claire. And thanks everyone for joining. And hopefully we'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks,
Thanks so
guys.
much for joining. How do I leave?